Coming up on the county line, the story of a local man lost to a deadly house fire.
Coming up on the county line, find out why some of the Amish are hanging up on the whole idea of these roadside telephone booths.
Coming up on the county line, we take a look at a farm that's not so common for Lawrence County.
Oh, Danny, no.
Meet a Lawrence County resident who's crazy about rugby.
Come, Alan. Keep coming.
Good evening and welcome to the final edition of the County Line. I'm Scott Lawrence.
And I'm Ryan Hitchcock. State police fire marshals are still trying to determine what caused a deadly fire that ripped through a Washington Township home on Monday afternoon. Heavy smoke and flames tore through the house along State Route 956 near the Jordan Road intersection. The County Line's Drew Triflis takes us to the scene where one family friend was on his way to visit the victim when the fire broke out.
61-year-old Randy Fulkerson lived in this home. Neighbors say he lived alone. Firefighters say there was confusion. They didn't know if anybody was inside. Unfortunately, there was. They believe Fulkerson was in the living room when the fire started. Fire crews trucked in water. There are no fire hydrants along this road. Frank Kelly says he was headed to Fulkerson's house to do some work, but he couldn't get to the road. Firefighters had it blocked off.
I figured it was somebody up the road or something. Bad accident or something like that.
It wasn't a bad accident. It was Fulkerson's house on fire.
I get out here on Keno Road and I had to park down there, walk up here, and I seen his house, smoke pouring out of his house.
Firefighters rushed out here to State Route 956 as soon as they could, but it was too late. The fire had already ripped through the roof. Some neighbors told firefighters Fulkerson wasn't home. They said he was in the hospital. But ambulance workers say they knew he was home. They had just dropped him off a few hours earlier. Kelly says Fulkerson had spent nearly 3 weeks in the hospital. He had been ill for some time.
Randy's sister called me to come out. He just got out of the hospital this morning. And she called me to come out here and do a little bit of work for him.
Kelly says he did all sorts of odd jobs for Fulkerson, including mowing the lawn. Friends and family would also check on him to make sure he took his medicine. None of them ever imagined something like this would happen. In Washington Township, I'm Drew Triflis for the County Line.
Lawyers for a 12-year-old boy charged with fatally shooting his father's pregnant fiancée want a judge to revise his opinion that the boy should be tried as an adult so they can take a direct appeal to the PA Superior Court. They went to court on Monday asking for the appeal. Last month, Lawrence County Judge Dominic Motto ordered Jordan Brown to stand trial as an adult in the February 20th, 2009 slaying of Kenzie Hook. Judge Motto has 30 days to decide whether to revise his opinion that a 12-year-old boy should be tried as an adult.
And the Borough of New Wilmington is looking into purchasing more speed detection equipment. The equipment will help the police department cut down on speeders in the borough. We caught up with the police chief, Carmen Picarillo, who told us how the equipment will operate.
Our primary intention is to purchase a new, what is called an NRAD, speed enforcement equipment, and it measures speed electronically between 2 points that are only 3 feet apart, and then it transmits a readout from that to a remote unit in our police car. That allows us the opportunity to not have to sit right on the location where the speed is actually being measured. We just have to be able to see it. We don't have to be right there.
The Amish of Lawrence County are stepping into modern times. It has been reported that the Amish are starting to purchase their own cell phones. The County Line's Corey Emanuel went out to see if there's any truth to this ringing rumor.
The Amish way of life is something many of us find to be a bit peculiar. However, longtime New Wilmington resident Terrell Sipe has something rather surprising to tell you about the Amish.
I know for a fact, I know a guy in town that has like a crew of Amish guys that work for him and they're younger, and they have cell phones and they text you know, on their lunch break, they'll sit there and text. And I don't know who they text. I don't know, you know, if they have internet on their phones, but they sit there at lunch and they text, so they carry them around.
Manager of the Dollar General in New Wilmington, Becca Schweitzer, says she has sold plenty of pay-as-you-go phones to the Amish.
They're sneaky about it.
What do you mean they're sneaky about it? What do they do?
They walk around, they'll come in, they'll walk around the store, and they'll look and see if there's any other Amish, like the older ones, because they're against that. And they'll look, and if not, they'll hurry up and come up, and they'll ask us to put it in a bag. If they get a phone, they ask us to double bag it.
Westminster College professor Kristen Park says that a change in how the Amish support themselves is affecting their self-sufficiency.
The big change the Amish experience these days is it's harder and harder to be a farmer, which is what you really want to do. You know, you want to be a farming family. And so they're moving into businesses, you know, small businesses for themselves and for us, like, you know, with furniture making, cabinetry, quilts, as you know, greenhouses, those kinds of things. So that's been the big change in recent decades with the decline of the farm way of life and the decline of their self-sufficiency because of that also.
Since the Amish are now running small businesses, it is easy to see how they would benefit from the use of a cell phone. Besides, it's hard to ignore that they exist when you have a cell phone tower in your backyard. I'm Corey Emanuel for the County Line.
Still looking for that special gift for Mom before Mother's Day this week, but just can't think of something that will sweep her off her feet? The County Line's Kate Altman found that perfect gift when she traveled to Golf Car Supply in Newcastle. The local business has been around for over 25 years and sells golf cars and utility vehicles for everyone, whether you're looking for a ride to get to the mailbox or a way to get around the farm.
I'm Spiros Gardner-Bickus. I'm a sales manager for GC Supply. As you can see in our showroom, golf cars have evolved over the years.
Once upon a time, these cars were only seen on the golf course. Today, they are everywhere with every attachment imaginable, from LED lights to chrome rims.
This industry has evolved to where now we have to customize a lot more than what we ever used to do in the past.
The utility vehicles can range in price from $1,500 to $15,000.
We can do custom painting or just paint the basic factory colors, which would be beige, white, or green. This happens to be a street legal vehicle. It is not legal in Pennsylvania yet, but there are 44 other states that allow these on any road that is posted for 35 miles per hour or less.
There are more than 50 models of car that can be used for something other than golf. You can find them at airports, county fairs, and here on campus.
So if you have a unique idea for a golf cart or a utility vehicle, make sure you stop by Golf Car Supply right off of Route 18 in Newcastle. For the County Line, I'm Kate Altman.
For over 50 years, the Marty family has produced and sold cheese to the community. Now the second generation is continuing the family legacy. Jim Marty, whose father built the cheese plant, now owns and operates the cheese house in New Wilmington. Marty says he loves being his own boss, and after all these years, he still loves cheese.
50 years, the Marty family has been involved in the cheese-making industry. After his father's passing, Jim Marty has proudly carried on the family tradition.
Well, my dad came over from Switzerland in 1953, and he started a cheese plant next door, right across the street here. And then I worked the plant for a number of years till I was about 18, decided to start my own business up, and that's how I got into the cheese house.
Not only does the cheese house carry cheese, but also a variety of trinkets and home-baked goods such as Amish pastries and jams.
Cheese, specialty foods, all kinds of gifts.
Much of the fine cheese sold at the cheese house is also produced right across the street at the cheese plant.
Provolone and mozzarella are made there.
Jim says that the holidays are the busiest time of the year for him, but he can get travelers coming from anywhere across the country.
Definitely the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving through Christmas. My only slow time is generally January and February. Yeah, all over the world, a lot of travelers come through here. It's amazing how many people travel through here.
At the Cheese House in New Wilmington, I'm Tyrell Sipe with the County Line.
The typical farm in Lawrence County is home to cows, horses, goats, and chickens. One farmer in North Beaver Township, however, raises another type of species. The County Line's Angela Tucker takes a closer look at what's involved in butterfly farming.
Jody Hopper resides and works out of her Mount Jackson home.
Working 7 days a week, she raises butterflies from the time they are still in the egg to after they hatch from their chrysalis.
The business, it's always. If I'm not raising now in the wintertime, it's website.
Hopper is always working with these insects. Each type of butterfly requires different surroundings in order to reproduce and live.
Monarchs actually have to have milkweed, and I have an attached greenhouse up there, and I have milkweed growing in it that I actually feed them.
But what does she do with all of the butterflies, you may ask?
Here at Wish Upon a Butterfly, they ship butterflies nationwide, from across the street clear over to California.
And they arrive alive. People use these butterflies during weddings, funerals, and charity benefits. The packing process for the butterflies involves 6 pieces of styrofoam, 2 ice packs, and plenty of tissue paper. The ice helps to keep them cool, putting the butterflies in a hibernation type of trance. Once you receive your butterflies, it is necessary to let them warm up for about 2 hours before attempting the live release. Hopper also includes a series of poems that can be read during the release about the symbol of a butterfly.
The fact of it going from the caterpillar into this, into the butterfly, from that going into the butterfly signifies this new life. So, and a lot of the cancer survivors, that's, you know, when they release the butterflies. And what's starting to pick up also is being released at funerals.
You can view these poems and also place an order through their website. Reporting from North Beaver Township, I'm Angela Tucker for the County Line.
About the only way to get it out is
In this week's County Close-Up, we caught up with Lawrence County District Attorney Joshua Lemoncusa.
The County Line's Adam Plyler sat down with the former U.S. Navy judge advocate to evaluate his first 4 months on the job.
And welcome to the last edition of County Close-Up for the spring semester. I'm Adam Plyler. Today we welcome back Lawrence County's District Attorney, Joshua Lemoncusa. Thanks for coming on today, Josh.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, how's your new job?
It's great. It's great. We're extremely busy, and we're making substantial progress on a daily basis.
So tell me, what is the main difference between being a lawyer and being a district attorney?
Well, I've had several different experiences as a lawyer. I was a prosecutor for a long time, then I was a defense attorney, then I did a lot of private civil work. The main difference as the district attorney is I wear many different hats. I am responsible for the prosecution of a case from the very beginning, from when the police contact me and they request what type of charges should we file in a particular case, how should we proceed. I have a direct role in the charging of defendants, and then I play a role in the assignment of prosecutors or in personally prosecuting a case. And then my job actually ends after the conviction, and sometimes I do get notices from the state requesting parole information, but otherwise I take the case from the very beginning to the very end.
Now, in your campaign, you describe a series of 4 plans for the community, which outline 4 different things you wanted to do as district attorney. Could you please reiterate those and describe your progress so far?
Sure. I ran on a platform of 4 points. The first one was the expansion of the Lawrence County Drug Task Force. The second platform was to reinitiate the Courtrooms to Classrooms program. This was a program that brought in attorneys and public officials, firefighters, police officers into the school system. It was an educational platform. The third platform was the expansion of a comprehensive neighborhood watch program throughout the county. And then the fourth one was the hiring of a humane officer. Since I've been in office a little under 4 months, the bulk of my time has been spent in 2 areas. The first was cleaning up my office internally, trying to get rid of some of the backlog of cases, which I'm pleased to say that we've almost accomplished that, and I'm a little bit ahead of schedule. But the other main focus was on my expansion of the Drug Task Force. In Lawrence County, it's not a surprise to anyone, but we have an ongoing drug problem. And we had a drug task force that was established to attack and deal with some of the drug problems in our community, specifically the drugs coming in and then the use of drugs by members of our community. I have expanded the task force by creating a special operations unit within the community. We have 7 officers that are dedicated to doing undercover narcotics work. All of the drug operations in Lawrence County are now going to stem from the work of these 7 individuals, and I've pulled them from various police departments in the county, Shenango, New Wilmington, Shannock, Elwood, you name it. I have a representative from that area who's now going to be providing information to this core group, and then we are going to direct drug operations throughout the county.
Okay, now one of my classes this semester, we are working on PSAs, and one of our clients is the women's shelter, and she was just praising how you try cases so fast. How does that make you feel about the job you're doing as district attorney?
Well, we work a lot with women's shelter. That's obviously something that I like to hear. It's a compliment, and I thank you for passing it on. The women's shelter does a fantastic job in the community advocating for the rights of victimized individuals. We make sure that not only are we pursuing the interests of justice, but we are also making sure that the victims are taken care of throughout the entire criminal justice process. So thanks for passing that on.
Now, what is your message to criminals in Lawrence County?
Well, my message is the same as it was before. It is that, if you commit a crime and we can catch you, we're going to prosecute you. There are no freebies in Lawrence County anymore.
Okay, now, what is your most difficult task as district attorney?
The most difficult task would be handling some of the child sex cases. It's not that the cases themselves are difficult to prosecute, but it is the impact to the victims. Whenever you deal with children and these types of serious crimes, you have to understand that there is going to be a significant impact on that child for the rest of their life. And emotionally, that's always a difficult thing to see.
And one last question. What is your message to the voters that elected you as district attorney?
Well, I certainly hope that they are happy with the progress we've made in the last 4 months, and there's a lot more in store, and I trust that they'll be happy with the end result.
Thank you for coming on today, Josh, and good luck in the future.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
And we'll be back with more County Line right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this year's, along with my own, final edition of Titantown Sports. I'm Matt Ogden. The Lady Titans softball team begins their battle to the top of the PAC this weekend as they travel to the PAC double elimination tournament hosted by Bethany College. The girls finished this season with an overall record of 24-14 and 10-4 in the PAC, which earned them the third seed in the four-team tournament. As they prepare for number 2 seeded Thomas More, our very own Marshall Capelli gives us a look inside the diamond with the softball team.
The Westminster Titans, with the help of team leaders like Liz Schultz and Jen Emery, have cruised to an impressive 24-14 mark at the end of the regular season.
I think good leadership we have this year. We have a good mixture of older players, juniors, seniors that have the experience, mixed with some of the younger ones. They're kind of teaching them real well right now, and I think the last time we talked about the team chemistry coming together, and I really feel at this point of the season that's what's happening. Mm-hmm. So I think that's adding to the success.
Mm-hmm. The Westminster Titans softball team is confident going to the PAC tournament and hope to bring home a PAC title.
I think our chances are good, as good as anyone else's. It's been such a competitive conference. If you look, the 1, 2, and 3, we're in third place by one game. You know, we're 10-4. They're 1 and 2 are tied at 9 and 3. Mm-hmm. So it could have went either way. We beat both of the 1 and 2 seeds. We split with them in our doubleheaders, both of them. So we know we can beat them. In fact, all the number 4 seed Teal, we also split with them. So we beat them all, we lost them all. So our chances, I think, are as good as anyone else's. I think it's anybody's tournament this year, really.
The team will face the Thomas More Saints in the first round of the PAC tournament tomorrow at 1 p.m. With the County Line, I'm Marshall Capelli.
The Titans baseball team will be looking to finish off their regular season on a bit of a hot streak as well when they host Thomas More Saints this Saturday and Sunday afternoon. The Titans are currently 14-22 overall and 6-9 within the conference. When they win both games, they'll make it 8 of 10 to finish off the season. The men and women's Titan track team look to continue their stride from the PAC tournament last weekend into this weekend's Slippery Rock qualifying tournament, which will take place tomorrow afternoon. And that takes us into this week's SAC Athlete of the Week, track phenom Rachel Hudson. This senior, who hails from Louisville, Kentucky, makes her second appearance as SAC Athlete this track season after helping the women's track and field team capture its third straight President's Athletic Conference Championship this past weekend when she took gold in both her events, the 5,000 and 10,000 meter races at Grove City. Congratulations, Rachel. The New Wilmington Greyhounds will be looking to defend their District 10 championship this upcoming season. They kick off 2010 action at home when they host Shenango Wildcats in Week 1. They spend a few weeks on the road as they travel to Meadville in Week 2, then go to Slippery Rock to take on the Rockets in Week 3. In Weeks 4 through 6, they have 3 straight home games, taking on Greenville, Karnes City, and Titusville, respectively. As we continue to the second half of the schedule, the Hounds kick off action in October when they look to avenge their only regular season loss from last season when they travel to Hickory to take on the Hornets. They then host Titusville in Week 8, travel to Sharon to take on the Tigers in Week 9. Then they host Warren JFK in Week 10, and hopefully, with a chance at the D10 crown yet again, they travel to Northwestern to finish off the season. Good luck to the Hounds next season. Jeff Hand and the rest of the Titan football coaching staff will be looking to improve on their 4-6 record, 2-4 in the PAC this upcoming season. The schedule is highlighted by 2 new non-conference foes in the first 2 weeks of the season when they travel into Terrier territory to take on Hiram College in Week 1. Then stay on the road, go east in Week 2 to Williamsport to take on the Warriors of Lycoming College. The Titans start off conference play in Week 3 whenever they host the Grove City Wolverines. Besides their October 9th homecoming showdown against the Bethany Bison, the rest of their conference schedule is rather orthodox for the Titans with their PAC foes already locked in. Since 1964, Pittsburgh has had its own rugby team to represent the black and gold. Nicknamed Pitt City, this team is comprised of men from many diverse professions who meet a few times a week to play a sport that they love. This week, our very own Adam Plyler takes us down south as he gets down and dirty with the reigning D2 champions, the Pittsburgh Rugby Football Club.
For Lawrence County resident Chip Moon, this is a normal Tuesday afternoon. Chip travels 115 miles round trip to play a sport he's passionate about, rugby. Chip explains why he loves the sport.
The fact that I can't afford anger management? It's just, I've always been into contact sports, and you don't get a better contact sport than rugby. I mean, the only padding you get is a mouth guard.
Rugby is a non-stop action sport. The only time the action stops is for 4 reasons. If the ball goes out of bounds, if a team scores, if a rule is broken, or if somebody gets hurt. I asked Chip if he sustained any injuries while playing rugby.
I have broke my nose more times than I care to talk about, and other than that, that's about it. I've had a separated shoulder, but it wasn't bad enough to keep me from playing for a prolonged period of time. I actually broke my nose October 10th playing in Dayton, bad enough that it needed surgery, and I still haven't got that surgery yet, but it never made me sit out a game or a practice.
So why keep playing while injured? Chip explains.
Yeah, until you've tried it and realize how much fun it is, you'll never know.
1562-99 Pittsburgh! For the County Line, I'm Adam Plyler.
Moving on to professional sports, the Pittsburgh Pirates look to improve to 13-15 overall tonight as they host the Chi-Town Cubs at PNC Park. The Indians are currently 10-17 and are looking to take one from the Detroit Tigers when they begin a 3-game series with them tomorrow evening. And moving on to the ice, Sid the Kid looks to take both games from Montreal in their own home and take the 3-1 series lead tonight when they take on the Canadians in Game 4. They're currently in the first intermission. They're up 2-1. Well, that does it for this semester's final episode of Titan Town Sports. I thank you for inviting me into your home every Thursday night. We welcome you back when we start back up next semester. But now, back to you, Ryan and Scott.
The Villa Maria Education and Spirituality Center bridges the gap between science and religion. Often at odds with each other, science and religion come together harmoniously across the sprawling several hundred-acre complex. The County Line's Bradford Eric visited the Education and Spirituality Center to tell us what they do there and how we can find our inner peace.
Nature and religion. Science and spirituality. Sound like a big fight to you? That isn't the case at the Villa Maria Education and Spirituality Center. Located on a sprawling tract of land in Villa Maria, Lawrence County, the first thing one notices immediately is how quiet it is. 2-year president of the center, Jim Murhud, explains the initial reaction of visitors.
Yeah, a lot of people say as soon as they walk onto the campus that it just calms them down. It's a very peaceful and relaxing place.
The Villa Maria Center was founded by the Sisters of the Humility of Mary in 1864. With 175 current sisters and 50 residing at the center, the collection of buildings and gardens is the center of the organization.
Traditional terms, this would be called the mother house for the sisters. So this is their home, and everything that they do originates here. So the sisters that do not live here, they either live in apartments or other small houses, but they don't have any other facilities that are like this one.
The center hosts a variety of programs, from the fun and playful youth and family retreats to the quiet, self-meditative adult retreats. With meeting spaces, overnight lodging accommodations, and a cafeteria, Jim says the center caters to all religions, not just Christianity.
We have allowed other religions to come and use the space for their own formation. We aren't trained to run their programs because, we're not Jewish, we're not Hindu, we're not Muslim. But they can certainly bring their own speakers, and we'll provide them space and hospitality to do that.
In addition to spiritual programs here at the Villa Maria Education and Spirituality Center, a host of environmental programs are offered as well at the self-sustaining farm here located on the property. Covering a large portion of the 726 acres is a farm providing organic beef, sheep, berries, fruits, and vegetables. 25% of the food produced is given to local soup kitchens and food pantries. The peaceful nature of the Villa Maria Center enables science and religion to coexist.
We think that they blend quite nicely. We think that if science discovers any truth at all, the truth was placed there by God, and so we think there's a real harmony between faith and science.
At the Villa Maria Education and Spirituality Center, I'm Bradford Eric for the County Line.
Well, Scott, it's been a great 4 years with you.
It's been a pleasure working with you, Ryan, and all of the other seniors of the broadcasting department. Here's a short video tribute to the graduating broadcasting class of 2010. Well, that does it for tonight's edition of the County Line, the final one of the semester. And at the end of the year, Ryan, Charles Shirazi will be retiring.
Yes, for 23 years, Chuck has been an engineer here at Westminster College, donating his skills and talents to developing this broadcasting department.
Under Chuck's tenure, WCN expanded our cable coverage from the small borough of New Wilmington to a multi-system operation reaching 40,000 homes while also forming the college's own Titan crew.
Chuck will be missed by not only us, but everyone else here at Westminster College.
It's hard to say that I'd rather stay awake when I'm asleep, because my dreams are bursting at the seams.